What's up, everybody? I am back here Friday morning here on Tradecast.com and YouTube. We are live. It is Friday, July 19th, 2024. It's 8:25 a.m. and we are ready to get onto these markets and see what we can get for the day. So, as you can kind of see right now, market's a little bit rolling through this trendline crack. Right, pretty much simple break. I don't trade pre-market, but this was a nice little setup around that 926 level. I would not be surprised with all the outages, with a lot of the uncertainty. What's up, Leezy? How we doing? This does not roll over with some force. You can see, I think this around the time that we got some of that news overnight. It was like around 2 a.m. So whatever 2 a.m. is, probably Eastern time, that I think I heard about it. I didn't hear about it, but I saw the notifications. So we got that melt off. But this major structure level here at 760 did act as that bounce point. Bounce point once, bounce point twice. If we get down through it again, do I trust that it's going to be a true bounce from here again? I'm not so sure. I think we could maybe get deeper into this gap, especially with the kind of news we just got and with the outages across the world as far as that's concerned. On the Crowdstrike, even through Top Step, if you are on the Top Step platform, you can see on the top of my screen that some of the live accounts are affected and that they're limiting some trading with the live, not the XFAs, but they're top tier accounts that they have because they just don't want to have people losing money, which maybe in turn means that we are going to possibly sell off with this news. This is the same kind of deal that we had yesterday, except for yesterday we were closer to that overnight high. This key level here, this 926, is very important. It's been reactive for the more recent future, or more recent past, I should say. If we're looking at the chart here, we're going to go look at the 30-minute that I have, this longer-term 30-minute chart here. You can see this is the 960. I'm going to zoom out for you so you can see what I'm looking at as far as this contract is concerned. This is, I'm going to take off all of the drawings. Give me a second so you can, oh, actually, not really. I'm going to take off this one. And so you can kind of see a little clearer what's going on. Not super clear because you do have all those levels, but this is the new contract, the U. When we rolled over, this is what happens, right? You had a big gap from the previous contract to this front contract. You can see basically sitting on top of this support here at 760 where that gap kind of ran up into and used as support. I can anticipate that maybe this gap gets filled at some point. Is today that day? Maybe. Do we roll down into this area here before trying to pop back up? That's a possibility as well. This Crowdstrike thing, this transportation issue because of the security data breaches and stuff like that could make us have a catalyst for selling today. I'm not going to trust it until I get down into these overnight lows and beyond. But you can see how well we react. Yesterday, I spoke about how that 760 level was going to be a really important bounce point, and once, twice, three times that we've bounced from it. So this is a lower high here if this does come in as the lower high, and we're starting to roll down. So potentially the breakdown this time either traps some shorts into this range here and rotates us back long, or we just continue to flush as we have the whole week. So this whole week has been kind of trending to the downside. So we're going to kind of just use that information to our advantage for today. So overall, kind of, just the same as every day. You just got a little bit of a catalyst to drive prices around a little bit, some in either direction. And like I said, it could even be that the algos decide to rip it upside. And then even we can get some interest here at the overnight high for maybe a fail breakout, then a fail breakdown of this, and then a lot of confluence up here. If we check out the market open here on our other platform, just going to be watching Delta. We're going to watch Russell. We're going to watch the S&Ps. I bounce back and forth as always, so you will see me bouncing from chart to chart. Where's my opening range? There it is. It's up there. Currently. And it's just easier to redraw it. We are below VWAP here on both the S&Ps and the NQ. Kind of a tight range for the overnight session, even though we have, not for the NQ, but for the S&Ps a little tighter. Let's see what we got here for the opening range. There we are. The high of this is 880. Okay. And the low of that bar, 853. Cool. Okay. Cool. Make it purple again so it's consistent for you guys. There's that 1 minute opening range. And we are opening and pushing downside. Not that I didn't expect it to go downside pretty much immediately. However, there has been little to no buying in these early market sessions so far this week. Everything's kind of just been straight down. Opening range for the S&Ps was right on VWAP. As I mentioned, I'm a little bit away from my levels, so I'm not looking to execute at the moment. This is what I do. I wait and I wait and I wait and I wait, and then when it's ready, I go. There are multiple ways to skin a cat. There's lots of ways that you can do what you want to do to make sure that you can capitalize on these markets. Some people play opening range breakdowns. I found that these white lines, I don't normally have the white lines on the chart for more than one day, but since we've kind of used these levels over the past 2 days as kind of important spots for breakdowns and rotations. I'm going to leave them here. The 41 quarters and the 2625, 92625 areas are pretty important. Obviously, you can see a reactive right off of it. I drew those back up there yesterday, and they've been kind of interesting levels for me longer term. And as we kind of come into deeper levels that we've been at before, especially if we do clean up the gap and rotate into it, this is that yellow box here is the gap. So that would be the gap fill. I would like to see it pop. I would love to get up in that overnight high, trap some longs, get people excited for a long. And then I would like to slam it down to the lows. So let's see what happens with that. And then if we do that with this this NASDAQ, we got to wait and see what happens with the S&Ps, right? We're using the confluence to be our confidence. It is Friday. We are up, a good 1,000 plus on the week. Not looking to give back a lot. I have a couple combines that are up. So just to keep transparency, these are the two XFAs. This both up here around $1,200 in profit since we started. We have 100K combine that's up 104, 140, which is just shy of, that 106 passing. And then we have another 50K that's up 1,000. And then the other two are just not tradable. So kind of just keeping you transparent in everything that I'm doing as I do it. I do like this as a good reason for our shorts to get involved. So that would be a night. So my only issue is I don't know if we'll get to that overnight high. Do we get to the overnight high or not? To get our opportunity, is this going to be the breakdown retest of this trend line or that 26 quarter level? That was a pretty important level, right? So I'm just going to continue to watch these levels as I go. So you know what I'm looking at. The next at 8250 level, which is just over this, maybe even pushing to that close to 20,000. That was sort of my idea yesterday, with the 20,000 level kind of being an important part of the trading day. So maybe we can pop up into the overnight high, get my divergence, and rotate out. I'm going to check the quant tower. Delta is kind of acting strong here. So if we can break through these 900s and just kind of rotate up, we should be fine to get up to that overnight high. Russell is pulled all the way down into support and giving you a little bit of bounce at 2,201. We don't have huge orders on the book. There's an 87, 88 size at 920. 87, 88. So it could magnetize up into that area there at 820. 820, 920. And then it pulled. It's back on 70 at 916. $901 has some 10 lots filled. I like that rejection of that. See that trend line crack break, really pretty simple in a downtrend. The rejection of it, if you are a trend line trader and you're looking for a break retest, that is pretty clean. I'm just looking to get up over my overnight highs or my overnight lows. This could act as big support. It is the overnight low and the previous day low. However, a flush of it, break retest, could lead to further downside, cleaning up that gap. So that's kind of what I'm looking at on either end. Just very patient today. It's Friday. We're going to look to see what we can get out of the day. You can see that both the 926 and the 841 levels are pretty reactive. If you do break through down below this 1 minute opening range again, potentially that low comes into play. Do I want to risk it? Probably not for myself, but do I think that there is opportunity here? There is potentially. If you are below VWAP, below a key level, shorts could come in, but we are just kind of dancing around in that 1 minute range. So there's not a huge conviction either direction in the S&Ps. If this, barring that overnight news, this chart does sort of appear bullish, just based, not bullish, but starting to turn around for the day. I would be looking, at that 960 level. I mean, that 760 level as that bounce point. Looking to try and rotate out, break through that longer term trend to the downside that we had this past week. If we can do such a thing, then that potentially leads to a little bit of a squeeze in this market today. We kind of already tried to break through that downtrend, and then now we pop back up. We're trying to peek our head up again. And, that kind of gives me the conviction of the overnight high being the spot where it fails to break out, pulls back to the trend line, and then continues upside. So maybe this is the negative news of everything kind of just forces it the other direction, right? We kind of saw that yesterday. Oh, not yesterday, last week. Last week we did have, CPI came in favorable and we sold off. PPI came in a little bit negative and we got bid up. So maybe some negative news leading to some buying pressure. We'll see. This is what you see here. Airlines grounded, companies experiencing outages tied to Crowdstrike issue. Could see its worst day ever after worldwide outages. And then if we go into CrowdStrike's chart, I'm sure it's going to look ugly. CRWD, I think. Yeah, they gapped down, and I mean, honestly, today they're just sitting at lows. They haven't really moved, which is surprising, at that 300 level. So it could be a buy the rumor, sell the news. Event-driven, if they can recover quickly, then maybe that helps them. But NVIDIA still selling a little bit, kind of trapped in the overnight range. Yesterday's afternoon range of chop between 120 and 119.39. So it's really 121 and 119.40. This is very good for our short idea. However, it is a Friday. Markets like to trend on Fridays. So let's see what happens if it cracks through that overnight high. Are we going to get a squeeze play or not? This 30-minute chart appears to be consolidated. And we're looking to break through that 30-minute top, which is right here, right now. Could push up to 82. We push up into 82. That's where we could get that selling pressure to come back in. And then I want to see 5607 get rejected. Even before that, I mean, I could even see a rejection at 5605. Patiently waiting. Okay, so this is how we wait for our timing. 78% long, squeezing it upside, not really getting a negative feel in delta yet. I think I want to get up a little bit higher before we can do anything short. I need to get through that overnight high a bit. If it does not, and we start to fail through 926, that's going to get heavy quick. Just kind of use that information as you will. I think we get over the overnight high. I think we get close to 20,000. I think that 5607 has to act as a resistance, and then we got to take that short on that play. NVIDIA is creeping up towards 121, 120.90, and it's actually putting good pressure on it, but you are getting that initial seller stepping in front of the overnight high. I would love to see this set up with another wick-off high right above that overnight high. 5605 was basically that rejection point, like I mentioned, which I didn't catch, so could be the end of it. Won't be able to get to that overnight high. We need to see what happens at 926 quarters. It was 70-something% long here. I could have front ran our level and been pretty safe. We just got a pretty decent size that got filled here at 930. Looks like about over 100 or so contracts got filled. Bigger size got filled. 5605 rejected. 926. I think you get through it a little bit higher. Give me that setup through that overnight. But that was a great short opportunity right there, right front running it, just because of the just running it to 5605. I mentioned it, and then I just didn't see it clearly on hours. 4 contracts, 19,888 to 45, out at 9955. Nice. Good stuff. Spy, welcome back. I haven't seen you in a bit. Looking to see if this will kind of give us one more pop before the short comes in, but I don't know if we're going to get it. Looks like it's going to be a little manipulation over this, grab some liquidity, come right into these highs, and then fail. I usually like to get a setup, but didn't get any sort of setup there. It was just an immediate rejection, which tells me it's probably going to start to trend down. But we can't really execute around here because we're so tight to VWAP. Well done. I'm just doing the same thing I do every day, just being as patient as possible, letting things kind of line up for me, play out how I want them to play out, and just really trying to stick to my plan, not worried about how much we're making every day. We have 2 fundeds, 2 that are very close. I have 100K that's pretty close. I have another 50K that's pretty close. So I'm just kind of leveraging what I got. We've got 2 accounts that are on a copier currently, both up about $1,200 over the last couple weeks. Kind of just taking base hits here and there. That's all it is. It's just following the plan, sticking to it, being patient, letting this thing kind of rock and roll. It's still holding above the opening range. Very strong 30-minute wick test of 82. It didn't quite get to 82. A lot of reasons why I didn't short that yet is I didn't think the timing was right. You can see here, though, we did kind of crack through that trend line and then fail it kind of quickly. If we get back down below 41, the rotation down to 60 is probably likely. So if this cracks, I think down to 60 is pretty much not a guarantee, but it's a more likely scenario where this cracks and goes kind of quickly. Then down here, it needs to make a decision, a crack of that 41 down to 60. It needs to make a decision here on if it's going to be a complete flush, close that gap, or if it's going to be a rotation up. Like I said, with the news and everything like that, I think potentially sell side could come in with CrowdStrike. NVIDIA is running into that pre-market resistance, a very key level here at 120.90 that I have. It is Friday. I'm not looking to just hammer in just to hammer in, but I do like that level there for a further follow through to the downside. Really what it does is grab liquidity over that opening range, and then if it fails to break, it fails that low of that first minute and our 41 level, it really is showing its weakness. And NVIDIA is rolling over from a high. You got your opening range, both looking to crack through lower. And I think that 60 level is a magnet. Going to be pretty clear about that. You could play something from here to here. I wanted to play overnight high to there, but really I would have been overnight high to VWAP pretty clean. Not much issue there. And then using VWAP as your stop, kind of trailing down the rest, which probably gets you stopped out pretty quickly because this thing is going to dance around here, around the VWAP. If you see the red bar across the top of the screen, it is in because of CrowdStrike having issues. It's just an alert that Top Step throws across the top of the screen if they have anything going on with platform issues or anything like that. So it's not like my account is locked or something. It's just a notification through the brokerage letting us know that there are issues or things to kind of pay attention to. So that's another thing to notate, that there may be issues because of this CrowdStrike thing. Who knows if it was some sort of cyber attack or whatever happened with it, but like I said, I think if this cracks, then you get a breakdown of 41. You're going to have a really clean move to the downside. So I may take that short through 41, rotate down. However, if we make a higher low, I want that overnight high tagged. I really wanted to take that. I just wasn't I wasn't looking to front run a key level, especially with a bullish type of break after we grabbed liquidity down at that 760. I thought maybe that a crack of the overnight high gives us a decision point, and didn't ever get there. So somebody front ran that level, kind of thinking the same way I did, and they won that battle. And now we just wait for the next trade idea to come on out and see what we can get out of it. Kind of checking back and forth between YouTube and the Tradecaster chat. If you have anything that you're looking at, let me know. Like I said, right now I'm kind of just sitting on my hands waiting. It's right dead center of my levels, in the middle of the opening range. It is Friday. Happy Friday, everybody. We are just kind of chilling here. There is a 57 lot right here, just got filled. You can see right there, 223 contract sizes. Coffee Co.'s been okay. It's just up and down, little sales here and there. Just trying to grow it slowly and organically. Not like any of these, I don't have a ton of money for advertising revenues and stuff like that. So we are looking to kind of do it all purely based on organic growth, word of mouth. As people try it, they like it. They're switching their allegiances of coffee over to us, which is great. We love to see that. The big plans of the future with it are still the same, really. As we grow, so does the funding fund, so does things that we can give away. Then medium term, we're looking to eventually open a shop with co-trading spaces and teaching how to trade and stuff like that as well, like in-person stuff, which I would think would be a really cool thing for the local community and people who maybe want to make it a destination for trading. So that's what I want to do with it. I've had this idea for a little while as far as that's concerned. Me and the wife have always liked the idea of a coffee shop, but we just kind of haven't pulled the trigger with it. But I think if I could get my hands on a building that I own, then I can do what I really want with it. So that's kind of what we're looking to do with it in the medium term. So right now, proof of concept, I think everybody that tries it enjoys it. We have roasts for everybody. Everything's delivered, roasted on order, so you get the freshest coffee. It's basically, Black Rifle for traders, but I like it even better, to be honest, because it's my company, so I have to say that, but I don't have to because I don't drink bad coffee. That's my number one thing is I hate bad coffee. If it's bad coffee, I don't really want to drink it. Coffee is coffee. If I need it, I have to have it. I'm going to just suck it down and bite the bullet, but if I'm going to actually sit down, brew it, enjoy it, I want to make sure that it's great, and I would not sell something that I don't stand behind because I'm a terrible salesman. And if you don't like it, good on you, then don't buy it. But I think the product speaks for itself. So that's kind of how I roll with it. And if you feel like trying it out, you can always use code Policing Pips. It's scrolling across the bottom of the stream, and you can get yourself 15% off any order that you make. And I'll post the link right here for the coffees. You can always click on the side here and get yourself some swag, sweatshirts, t-shirts, mugs, hats, whatever you want. It's going to be pinned to the top of the YouTube chat, so it's pinned up there. And this is one of our mugs here. Bullish on caffeination mug there. So let's see what we can get, if we can get anything out of this to the upside. Can this get over our overnight high? That would be my ideal scenario, with a nice wick off high up through 20,000 and fail that, and then we start to roll and get heavy quick. We keep getting very heavy long, 73% here at that 26 level. At 26 level is so key. It's going to be our line. I think today this is our bullish bearish line in the sand. Holding above this kind of keeps bulls in charge. Anything below 26 is going to be the bears keeping control. And then, that's kind of just a battle between these two white lines. I want this up over that overnight high. This first time, second time through could be a breakout. However, what we do is fail breakouts. I know Fridays tend to trend of late, so we could start to catch a bid, but that first failure of that breakout could just be our opportunity to capture something that we want to see and then be done for the morning. The wife has an appointment at 10, so if I catch a trade before then and I feel like I'm done for the day, I may cut out a little bit beforehand so I can take care of the boys, but otherwise I will be on here 8:30 till 11. Here every day that I can be. This week we had some training, so we were off the charts a little. We had so far so good on the week as far as sticking to our plan, and we're just looking for that next one good trade that we can take, being as patient as possible, letting things set up, letting things kind of come to us. I could have hammered into the short through 26. Yes, it would have been profitable. No, it would have kind of not been part of my trading plan for the day, so not looking to do it. The short through 41, if we were to have broken through the opening range, does make sense, and I'm not totally out of taking that, but it does need to show me something. It can't just like wick here and then kind of just play with me. I want it to break and break hard. So if I did enter it, it needs to go immediately or I'd have to cut it. So kind of talking through how that one works, because that's just, this level here is just so strong for that break. And then like I said, down to 800 would be pretty clean. And then 60, I think even comes into play pretty fast if we crack through 41. So that's the reason I would take it. Below opening range, below key level, just kind of following some momentum, some negative news. If I could get the short from the overnight high, that would be the most ideal. And if it comes down very quick, and does something reactive around that 926 level, I'm going to have to, make a decision at that point. Do I want to take my trail and take my money at 926? Because if it breaks 926 after failing that overnight high, I think we do get a strong rollover and potentially down to the low. So that's my thought process through it. I'm kind of just, it is Friday. Like I said, a lot of Fridays have been trending. They kind of get some follow through and they kind of keep going that direction. So whichever direction it picks, it'll trend for that, at least for the morning session. And then if it flips during the afternoon, so be it. I won't be around to care what it does. So we are kind of wedging out here. If we do crack through 41, maybe I'll wait for that good break of that level there and just try to pop it down. If I front run it, would be interesting too. NVIDIA is having a real hard time holding above 120.90. We're just kind of dancing around with that level. It's been there for a few days that I've had, or for a while that's been drawn up, but kind of using it as that resistance in the pre-market. We flushed down to that next level below, wicked that, came back up, wicked this, wicked the high of the pre-market highs, and now we're starting to rotate back down, accepting into that 120.90. So this level here being reactive is having is kind of aligned with that 926 level that we're at right now. S&P's is kind of gathering some strength here. You can see it's a higher low, trying to break out above this previous high here, this little candle. So we are trying to stair step to the high side. Maybe that this gets up into that 5607, we can get that overnight high to play with. But right now we're kind of just diddling around. It is 4 minutes till the hourly close, so I can't execute a trade. I'm going to step away from the screen for 2 seconds, and I'll be right back. Or 2 minutes. So it does appear that that 926 level is very important. Sorry about that. Let's see what happens here. Okay, we are rolling through VWAP. NVIDIA did hold the rejection of that level there. If you can see here, that 120.90 wicked up, rotating off of it, trying to crack through this now, pre-market. I would call this an area of interest here. That's 120.50, and now we just flushed it. So let's see what happens if we continue on to the downside. I think, like I said, I think a short through 41 does make sense. I think that makes a lot of sense there. I think just logically thinking of the trend of the week, the hold of 926, the rotate down. If you fail the opening range low, then potentially that just kind of gives up every bit of buyer who was holding this up in this range. That 41 level has been key, and it is a breakdown point as well. So like I said, I think I'm going to just give it that shot there. I was going to consider shorting through the opening range low, but I'm going to just let it get through my level. And then if it, stops me out, it stops me out. But I think that that's the best play looking at it, objectively, if it comes down through it. If it doesn't come down through it, then we're not going to do it, obviously. And we're going to look to see what we can get elsewhere. But that seems heavy. It does want to maybe sweep that low of the day, so I can be very quick with my trail. If it decides to not go quickly, I'm going to just snap my stop to break even or quick, just like right above here. I think that could be a good place to be. Like I said, a crackdown of the. If you are a little bit more risky and you want to take that short through the break of that opening range low, front run it, grab yourself 10 extra points quick, even more. You think if this opening range low goes, then so does 41. NVIDIA wicked through that low. I think it's still, if it gets and holds through 120 even, then I think down to 119.40 is pretty clean. We are holding pretty much that opening range, right? Break a VWAP, break retest. Support. I'll go ahead and do that. Is there any sort of size there? Delta got heavy. Delta tried to pop. Price tried to pop. Delta didn't play along. Not huge size on the book. Overhead, there's a little bit of flashing. 20 lots. Nothing big. Nothing, extra large that's going to draw us in any direction. So let's see if this will crack through this low. I'm going to give that opening range low break a shot. I'm going to front run this 10 points. And then, like I said, I'm going to give it quick. If I get stopped out, then I'm going to reassess. But I think that breakdown does play us a nice flush. NVIDIA is broken down through 119, 1 through 120, grabbing some liquidity there. If it does continue to flush, then like I said, I think down to 119.40 at least gives us that push to the downside here. We never made it to the overnight highs, which kind of makes me think that we want to get to those overnight lows. And that's my thought on this idea. So I'm willing to take the shot on it. NVIDIA is still selling, so relative strength here. And if this buyer gives up, then you definitely should at least get a quick flush. Let's see if it'll go. I'm front running the 41 level. I don't want 500. That's crazy. Where's 250? I would have wanted that to go quick. It's going to stop me out. All right, we're stopped out on that Not going to re-enter that. I gave it its shot. Realistically, it could have probably, wanted to risk up to the high. I wasn't going to risk the whole day's loss on that. I gave it a shot on it. I will short through 41 though, if it does get there. I don't want to front run my level anymore. Sometimes I front run my level. Sometimes I get myself in trouble. Sometimes I will do this and it'll work out. You'd want that to crack and go quickly. Didn't. Holding a flattened delta. Price trying to get up there. Delta not playing that game, so maybe gives you that follow through to the downside. Russell looking to creep back down from its highs. Nvidia still selling, kind of messing around with that 120 level. If it can get through 120, then this might, crack and break. It's just kind of dancing around at 120. I think it's a decision point. Like I said, I'm willing to risk it. I'm willing to take the shots at it. That was worth the shot, and it was also worth cutting it pretty much immediately when it didn't go right away because, there you go. That would have stopped you out anyway. So let's just see what happens with it. Change that. Okay. That was my hesitation right there was that front run. That's just taking the risk early. Obviously, that's what happens when you take the risk early. There's more of a chance that you're going to get stopped on it, which is fine. $120 held in Nvidia. Microsoft is looking to crack highs at 439.62. Crowd is catching a bid. It's so funny. Negative news is good news. Good news is bad news. It's all circles and squares. It's funny sometimes, the market, but we are just kind of lingering in this area. Lower high, holding below VWAP, still holding the opening range. Like I said, I think if we do give up this 41, then potentially the overnight low goes. Went before, it went here. It wasn't so clean though on these breaks. I mean, it did go down, and you will capitalize on it. Will it be that straight to the downside? I don't know. Looks like it's grabbing some liquidity here. In that opening range, still bullish, right? Like kind of holding that area. Break, retest of that trend line crack, basically. Let's see if there's anything else to this, if it's just going to be range bound or if it's going to rocket on us. Mm-hmm. 9:07 a.m. here, Central Time. Took one shot at a front run short through that overnight, that opening range low. Just got wicked in and tagged out. This is interesting, the way this price is acting here at the VWAP. 59% long. Delta pretty much acting the same as price at the moment, just creeping up, looking to push upside. Maybe we finally catch the overnight high. Very choppy, very inside session here. You could definitely see this kind of setup forming, this wedge type pattern here. If you wanted to go by the bodies of the candles or the wedge, whatever however you draw your patterns here, you're right in that area where this makes sense for it to kind of give you some decision making. Through 926 would be interesting as well, right? That continues to be a very important one. You just got a huge size, got filled at 908. Got hit on the ask there. So is this the spot where it breaks out? You would think with that kind of size there, 10, 20, 30, 40, 50, 100 something contracts got filled right there. Is that going to give you that nice little pop and squeeze through this level or not? You grabbed once, twice, 3 times, failed to break down that opening range 3 times, failed to break 926 and hold once, twice, 3 times as well. So are we kind of trapped in this little area here, right? These levels clearly make sense, 41 to 26. We're kind of stuck in here. And then if we actually finally pick a direction, then we'll be able to get going out of it. But until then, I think we're kind of going to linger here for a bit, or who knows how long. NVIDIA is selling again. Which way does it go? Who decides to take control of this market? Who here wants to be the leader today? Who wants to take advantage of, it's the thought process of, is this, that's a very key area, 901, 900, everything there kind of says go. But a fail breakout of 926 short could make sense as well, just based on the way we've been running. So I might consider that short there as well. If we can get up over, do something like this, and then short it, right? That gives you that false breakout of a wedge pattern. Took the first shot of the break through it. I think, depending on which way it goes, we could get a clean move. We just got to be waiting and patiently let this thing tell us. It's starting to get tilting to the long side. 63% people looking to go long through here. Delta is flat at these highs of this little part right where we're at. I don't have any large size sitting on the book that I can see. Which way do we go? Which way do we go? So if I do get this move where 41 cracks and we get the breakdown and we take that short and get close to that overnight low, I will look for the failed break of overnight low as well, depending on how that sets up. So really looking at that 926 bearish, bullish line in the sand, still failing to get anywhere near it or above it at the moment. NVIDIA is still dancing around with 120. Microsoft looking to fail the high of the day. AMD, Soxel in general is down. NVIDIA, Apple, Google. Everything is pointing downside. Everything. So I'm going to go with that short working if it does go. Give it a shot. I'm going to avoid front running it again. Going to take the break of my level and not of the opening range, because I think we could maybe do the same thing again, and I don't want to be involved in that. So that was nice and heavy from the top. Do I get bottom ticked? Maybe, potentially. There's the break of the 1 minute opening range low. So now we're getting heavy. Everything's starting to feel heavier. 70% short tilt. Not convincing, but not a negative factor yet. See, that's why I didn't just go on that first break of that opening range low. S&P still holding the opening range. I'm gonna risk my normal too. Oh, for some reason I have it at 5, but it's okay. I'll move it. Get the crack of 41. Does the timing work? Is it going to hold the opening range or not? 9:15. Good reason not to do that quite yet. That kind of alleviated some of that short pressure there. Oh, kids are sad. This next break through it possibly could be the one. It's all about timing in this market, right? Another reason I didn't front run it, I learned my lesson the first time, didn't front run the level, want the level to break for it to be going. I'm normally not a good breakdown trader. However, today, I think with the distance from these levels, I mean, unless I get to the overnight high, I won't be able to short it. But through that 41 seems like a good support level here. I don't have 41, anything on the book up into that area, so nothing huge. Like I said, Delta still heavier, nothing pushing crazy high, strong. Russell creeping down to the opening range high, trapped in the opening range here on both the S&P and NQ. Continuously lower highs. Just my problem with it is that we are in a breakout area. We did grab liquidity here twice. Even on bad news, 760 held. So that's my only concern, is this possibly could continue to go higher. Continues to hold that opening range low and leaves it at the low. So 926, maybe if I get a failure of that 926 level, since we have yet to really, like, if it can give you like a false breakout above 926 and then rotate fail, that's another, key level of mine. That's a longer term key level, so I'd like to use it. That's why 41 is playing as well. So let's see if we can maybe get up over 2.6, up into the 40s, trap some longs up over 40 and then fail 26. This did hold really nicely. Got another seller stepping at 908. 900. NVIDIA pushing back up to the 120.90 level. I did take one quick short idea here on the first break of that opening range low. Didn't play out. I should have waited for it to close. Right? I was just front running it, cheating the level. I mentioned it. Sometimes that happens. Didn't quite. There's a big lot there. 200, probably close to 200 getting filled here at 900. 900 is getting slammed with orders. So bigger size orders. Whichever way it goes from here, maybe that's the direction it wants to take, since that larger size just got filled so much right around this 900. Big wick off here on the Delta. Right at the point of control, basically, which is 900. Like I said, there's been a ton of orders executed here at 900, so whichever direction it does choose is probably likely to want to continue on with those larger size orders as the driver. Alrighty, like I said, down 260, should really be down like 250, but I got some, I guess, a little slippage on it, which is fine. We failed 926 here, and here. Never made it back there. Kind of giving you a wedging pattern. Every time we approach 41, I want to flush it. So I am looking to take a short through the 41 level, right? If it gets through here after failing it so many times and those larger sizes getting filled up here, that next break of this opening range could be that true break or, another bounce play. It's up to you to decide which one you're thinking about. I don't know if it's going to be a bounce play here. Just kind of all factors considered. I want to get into that 60 level once again. Wanted to play failure of overnight high, never got there. Wanted to play failure of 2.6, never really got there. So I want to short through 41. I could wait for low of the day, but I think if we can get filled just prior to that, we'll get that flush and we can get to even kind of quickly and then let the trade, move its way to the downside. But right now we're trapped. I'm sure everybody's seeing the same thing here. Inside chop, but sort of like just a winding up of price action, right? Fridays normally, of late, have been very trending. This whole day has, I don't know if it's going to be different because this whole week has kind of trended to the downside. We do have that upside potential now here for that like profit taking for the week, especially off that key structure level of 60, right? That's why I kind of think maybe we get down to 60 again, flush that low, trap some shorts, and then kind of rock and roll to the high side. So my thought process is catch as much of this move to the downside that I can catch if I can. Then if we do approach these overnight lows, previous day lows, if we can flush into here and start to fail that as a continuation and then play our failed break and then really try and rotate it higher, that could be where we make our money on the day. So this is really what I'm looking for right now is just that break, a quick break even, and then see how deep we can take it if it does continue to go on to the downside. Price doesn't always do what we expect it to do. So we got to just set ourselves up with good biases, some good ideas, what potentially we can kind of do here to make some good money and then capitalize on it when we get a chance. This is starting to feel heavier. Delta's getting heavier. Everything's looking poised to break down. S&P's finally looking to break and hold below that opening range. If it does, you can maybe see if S&P's snap through down to 81, then we should get a little bit of a deeper push, maybe into that 800 level at least. And then, like I said, I want down into that opening, that overnight previous day low. There's a lot of confluence down there, a lot of orders down there to want to get bought up. Lots of buyers at that level. I would assume since they've been there, since this contract has basically started trading as the front contract. So still holding that opening range, not ready to go quite yet. There's definitely some bids here at 55. If that guy disappears, then this should flush. Can we get the flush? Very, very sideways. I'm glad I haven't really, I am down on one trade here, but realistically, I haven't chased it in any sort of manner where I'm looking to revenge and fight. I'm kind of just waiting for this thesis to kind of play out and see what happens with it. If it does it, then great. If it doesn't do it, then also whatever. We'd still end the week green on this account, so I can't be mad at it. I'm going to still look to try my best to kind of wait for some of these levels, but at the end of the day, I am seeing if this will go right here. So you can see S&P's finally cracked through that opening range low. Should be able to crack it. If this cracks here, then 41 probably breaks, and then we get a good seller to come in here. So let's see what happens when we do this. Are we going to get bottom ticked and ran out, or are we going to fill and dump? Or are we not going to get filled at all, and it's going to rotate up, show some relative strength? And in that case, does the break of the opening range high rotate us all the way up? The buyer's still there in the NASDAQ. Although we do have the sellers still being aggressive. Once again, holds that opening range low. You can see how supportive that level is. I really would love to see a failed breakout. That'd be very nice. Like a nice pop over this, right into VWAP, reject it, then that's the melt. If you want to just can break down now, either way, good to go. Nothing crazy doing. Still trapped in this wedge. I'm obviously putting my money on this going down. Breaking the wedge to the downside. S&P's a little cleaner, still holding through, breaking down and holding. So S&P could have been the trade. However, I think NASDAQ gets very strong if it does break it, right? Like it should never come back to the entry for me if it does crack. And if this seller gives up at 50, there might be a 20, 30 point move, real quick snap. With this breaking down, does it crack through that 81 level? If it does, then we get this downside pressure going. Come on now. Make your choice. The choice is yours. Is today the day we finally capitalize on our downside pressure? Let's see. Let's get that short going. Didn't quite get filled. Didn't get filled. Hopefully that limits our risk here.
Hey, trader.
What's up, everybody? Daddy's just about to enter a trade. Give me 1 second. All right, cool. We're in. And there's that flush real quick. See if it'll break and go. There we are. We're quick to break even. Now we are just risk-free. And that's the way to be. I said we're going to try and catch as much of this as we can through this low here. I'm going to go ahead and capture just over 30. Let's see if we can flush all the way down. I don't know if we're going to be able to get it, but let's see if it goes quick. We got to get through 20 first. Not distracted by the boys. Letting the boys come in. See the money get printed. Let's go. Come on now. Okay, we're back to even on the day. Now let's see how deep we can go. I'm going to trail the 20 because 20s like to get filled. But I think that break and hold down all the way through that low gives us a nice clean move here. Down to 800 should be respectable, easy. I'm trading, quick move, quick trail. I'm out red to green there. Nice little trade, quick move. Didn't trust the full, flush. I wanted, NVIDIA just got to 119.40. We got a little turn in that. This still could get down to 800. I do think, like I said, we're going to use to catch as much of this flush as we can. Quick little scalp, get ourselves back good and green. And then I want to see a failure of this overnight low to be my real true moneymaker move here. And if it never comes back through it, then so be it. Then we start to look for that retest and then clean up this gap. But for now, we actually secured, pretty much this entire piece of this red candle. So very happy with that. Can't be mad at that short. Talked it through exactly what we were looking for. If you're still in and you're at break even, great. If you front ran the entry at the opening range, even better. You grab yourself 10 more points and you're still very, very good. Carlos, very good. Red to green. Excellent job. See, the only thing I'm thinking now is failure of that overnight low, previous day low. So I'm not locking out yet. My normal rules is red to green lockout, but that's only if I'm, deeper in the red, not seeing the markets well. I think realistically, we do get down to these previous day lows, overnight lows. You guys could still be in this trade if you maybe wanted to manage it a little bit differently, where you can go to break even, then trying to kind of just trail out as you see fit. My trailing rules kind of just say fast move, fast trail. I'm trying to stay above key structure levels like 20s. 800 got tagged right there. So like I said, that clean move to 800 happened, which is fantastic. I told you my plan on what I was looking for before I did it, right? I wanted to catch, if you rewind the stream, I wanted to catch as much of this quick pop first break as I possibly could, trail it tight, get my move. Yes, I think it could get all the way to here. That's the clear-cut move. However, it doesn't have to get that far. 800 could act as resistance, and we could pop from 800. My real, true A-plus setup would be a trap all the shorts through the previous day low, through that overnight low, and then rotate back through highs, right? That's the moneymaker there, right? So if I could get this on risk-free and then let it ride and see how far I can get it with my trail, that's where I'll be a little bit more loose with my risk on a true A-plus setup. Right there, that was a playbook that I have, a play in my book that I have. Sorry. That's a play that I have. Obviously, it worked out there great across two accounts. Let's just make sure both copiers worked well. Yes, $84 on each. When first trade, let's see, our two trades there was we lost 260, made 350. The 260 we should have never really lost that much. I wanted that to go quick if it didn't bounce. I mean, it bounced kind of fast, so I didn't really get a chance to burn it before it went. But we took that first break. Obviously, it took a few more breaks, a few more reasons to get going. You could see that the S&Ps was front running us, so you could confidently take this move and not have any heat on it whatsoever. I would love for now if we can just kind of give me a nice big flush through here into somewhere into this range. I like the low, even down into 720, 730, 730, 720 in here. If we can get something right into here, let's see if I can give a little, let's go with somewhere in this area here. If this can break, get into this zone, and then snap back, break above this previous day low, reaccept back into the previous day lows, close in here, you have a lot of room because this is a big time buyer here, right? You can see it across. What do you see if you go over to this chart right now? I hope you're still in this short, to be honest. If you were able to now trail your stop even further down to 20, you shouldn't really have any fear that it comes back to 20. If it does, so be it. As you flush 800, should probably push down into these levels here, and then you can kind of trail accordingly. As I mentioned, I had my setup. I had my strategy on it. I wasn't trying to be greedy on it. I was trying to get myself, take my base hit on it, and if it goes all the way, great. I'll just trail it really quick, really fast. Really tight trail to 800. I got trailed out at 821.50 because I was just above 821.50 right there, which is fine. That's kind of what I'm looking for. So if we can flush even down into that blue arrow right now, we're not there. You can't see it. NVIDIA, you're getting the breakdown, but into support from yesterday. I'm talking through this chart here. Sorry, this is the chart I wanted to show you. The contract rollover. This is the gap. That's that yellow box that I have drawn on our trading chart, but it's been a big buyer. Never made it here. So somebody front ran this level. Bounce. Even on this terrible overnight news, you got a really nice bounce right off of that top end of the box pretty easily. So if we do flush into that 20 level, come back, rotate through, and start to accept back above that previous day low and start to hold in here and start to rotate back up, you do have the possibility that we crack through here, get through there, and 926 is going to be that key point of interest where, it seems like sellers are stepping in there. There is still a chance that the 20 level gives up, 720 gives up, and it rotates all the way down to 610. And our short idea through 41 made a lot of sense. But for me, like I said, I'm willing to take these base hits, baby. They add up, right? I'm going to continue to take these base hits. And then if I get my home run, then it just pushes me up into the right. As of right now, kind of just showing you the week that we've had and the month that we've had. The only red day is a red day that we broke our rules. We didn't follow any, we had a hurricane, all that nonsense. I kind of went over it yesterday. So if you were on stream, you kind of don't want to hear the spiel again. But every other day we've been on stream, we followed our rules. We're not worried about our actual P&L per se. We're just kind of worried about executing according to our plan, making sure everything is correct as far as executions, no revenge, no nothing like that, following all of our rules. I'm just trying to get this VWAP to be normal. Sorry. So there's that nice clean move through 41. If you are a momentum trader, like I said, I am not a momentum breakout person. I did say that the S&P is probably the one to trade here because it was heavier, quicker. It was leading us to the downside. You are following it with the NQ, so you do have that good short there from the NQ, from the short side through 41. Like I said, we should never come back. We should never have any sort of heat on this, which is exactly what happened. You kind of came into this candle, it popped up, and then it just melted off and never got any heat on it. Immediately took our trail down. If you're going to take a trade where you're just going to snap yourself through, more than a 1-to-1, a 1.5-to-1, and it's going to give it to you in a minute, less than a minute, can't be mad at that, right? I'm not here looking for these huge whole moves. I will sometimes catch them depending on the plan, depending on the play, depending on the market environment. But right now, like I said, I'm not a real good continuation type person. I'm more, I would hold it longer if we got through here, broke above, and then I got to even on this. I would let this thing kind of rally its way through, knowing I have a risk-free trade on, letting it try and, do its thing, grabbing the liquidity here at the major structure level. If it does kind of crack and continue this downtrend all the way in here, we could see this cleaned up. And once this is cleaned up, for next week, early next week, you can see some pretty good trading conditions coming into play. So, like I said, I'm not mad at this at all. Across, I was early on it here. I should have kind of known that I was early on it. I front ran the level. Sometimes I call out the front run and people take it and they catch it, and I don't normally do it. But that kind of held me back a little bit for this being an actual full profit trade type day. But green to red to green to red to green, plus 365. I will allow that though. So this is why I don't normally. This is why I trail quickly, because I don't like to dance around. I want to be in and out. I don't want to have any sort of, dancing around my levels. 800, obviously, clear as day, is going to be the spot where there's going to be resistance, where buyers may step in. Am I going to get long here? No. I'm going to let my A-plus thesis try and play out. If you can't get through the overnight low, we have yet to breach any of my real levels, right? Normally I work overnight high, overnight low, previous day high, previous day low, and none of those levels have gotten taken out. So normally in that market scenario, I don't have great opportunity because that opportunity is so wide, and I have this one little extra play that I have in my playbook with this kind of consolidation, major key structure levels that are very tight together. And you can just kind of see the price action winding up and ready to break in a direction. So just kind of reading price action, reading the tape, I was able to capture a trade here. But normally if we're not anywhere near those levels, highs or lows, you're going to get kind of crappy price action. You're not going to get price action that's truly, really tradable. Yes, like I said, this is a good short. Obviously, the one we took was a good short, but everything else in between, this is sideways chop that it's not something that you can be convicted on either way, right? You could, if you're really good at just buying bounces, and you just take your chance, buy it. You win 4 times, you lose once. You finally give up on it, right? You're willing to take as many shots at it as you can. It's just kind of all up to you on how you want to structure your trading plan and your rules going forward in the day. So, like I said, I am here waiting now for that overnight low to get flushed. I drew up that blue arrow there down at the bottom so you can see it. Just making sure I'm on the correct screen. Yep. I really need another monitor for the streaming stuff to be out of the way so I can just have all my trading charts up. But it's all right. I don't have a problem bouncing back and forth. Yes, we might be leaving some money on the table, but guess what? We're not losing money this week. So I'm a happy camper with how we're just kind of seeing the markets, right? I should have capitalized a little bit more on a couple of these trades. Like this one should have never even been executed. And then yesterday also the same deal. So I'll show my executions just so people don't not believe me. I know people who are on this stream frequently understand what I do and know what I'm about. I'm not here to hide anything. I'm not here to sell anything. I'm just here to provide extra value to whoever I can. Get my VWAP correct. That red line is not correct, so just disregard it. I'm going to delete that. That was the VWAP connected to the CPI low, and I'm going to delete it. And this is the PPI high. All right, so back to our normally scheduled VWAPs. This was our executions. I was front running the break of 41 with the break of the opening range low. Clearly wasn't the right idea. I made the adjustment the second time and said I'm not taking the break of the opening range low because I do think I may get wicked in and it'll rotate out and stop me out again, which it did, right? So I saved myself by saying I'm not going to take it. I'm going to put my stop in below 41 and let that thing do its work. If it breaks that means that buyer gave up, which he didn't yet. Finally saw that heaviness come in, a really good push down into our level. You saw the S&Ps doing the same thing and then finally cracking through, giving you a nice flush of even the low before we got the breakdown of 41. And then that clean move right there got stopped out on that candle. So I'm waiting now to see if we can get a flush of these 2 levels here. What that is a major key structure. That big yellow box is the top of I call it the gap of where we traded when we changed from the H to the U contract on the NQ. So I want to see if we can get a good trap here. I want to see if we can trap some shorts. I want to see if they'll get really involved, really heavy down into that 20 and then kind of snap back up and then start to rally through that previous day low. Give me a nice little setup. Maybe I'll get a delta divergence of some sort, right? Get that. We're on that lower band of VWAP, which is nice, but I think we should get below it, get into that level down here, down into 50, 60, 20. Like I said, I need to get deeper. I can't just be lingering right here around that 800. That's just not that's a little bit front running it. That's just not, I can't time it correctly here. I don't have a good timing mechanism. What I do have is 55.68 and 3/4, which is the pre-market low, overnight low for the S&Ps. And then we're kind of dancing around yesterday's lows as well. If I take no more trades, I'm okay. If I take one more trade, I'm still happy to do it. I'm just waiting for that A+ now to set up on me. Vamos frias. Welcome to the conversation. I'm just here making sure that I get this thing through one of these levels. Especially with the issues that are going on right now, with Crowdstrike, with some of these other things, just don't be afraid to kind of shut it down. I mean, like I said, Yeah, this whole week stuck to our plan, A plus every day this week. So I am, thrilled with my, progress within these XFAs, within some of the combines, waiting for setups to come into play, not trading while I'm away from the computer, doing all the things that kind of lead to my downfall at times. So I'm really here to make sure that I stick to my rules, make sure you stick to your rules. One good trade at a time, right? We didn't revenge back into this. We're not saying, oh, we can get back in, this is right. I don't care about that if it's right. I wanted to front run it one time quick to give it a chance. Like I said, I wanted to really, I got triggered in and then tapped out. I really probably should have immediately trailed down to like 60. I got out at 65, so I gave back 5 extra points that I shouldn't have. But that's just on me to, adjust as far as I was willing to take this shot because the way the market was acting. I wanted to see it happen again, but it never made it through, so I was not front running it. I made the correct adjustments, which is I'm happy about that, right? So if you're gonna make a trade, if you have an idea, if something comes into play, don't go out and be like, I gotta hammer it back in. Have a reason why. Make an adjustment off that trade. Take a second. Don't just, unless it's just like melting and you just got wicked and there's a reason for it. But if there's no reason for it, don't just hammer into things. Don't do things like that. That's going to get you into trouble, right? I made the adjustment here earlier in the week or last week. I made the adjustment to, I kept seeing a level get a little bit beyond where I wanted it to be, but it kept acting really strong at that level. So I adjusted to that level, which is, everything's a zone, right? I want this to come down into these levels. I want that to grab some shorts. I want people to... it doesn't matter if it comes all the way to 20, if it only gets to 30, if it gets all the way to 700. As long as it gets into here, it gets people thinking that they could get short, they can get heavy, and then you rotate the failure back the other direction. That's my A plus, right? I let it set up. Same thing up here. I kind of had it set up. Double top here, 926. I mentioned 926 is the bearish bullish line in the sand. If we get above 926, the bulls will take control. If you hold below 926, the bears are going to take control. And if they take control, then we could short through 41 and be comfortable and be safe that a break of 421 was going to give us a hard, quick move in order to probably get down to at least 800. And that's right where we got to, right? We're kind of dancing around that level now. And now I want my setup to come into play down here at the overnight lows. And that's my A plus, get me going for a bigger move, right? Because what that does is trap shorts, and if it's not going to continue, if it's going to be a failed breakout, then the other end has a lot of room to go up. And we've acted as support here countless times. Like I said, it could break and it could rotate all the way down to 610. And, I'm not entered, right? I'm not worried about it. It could clean it up. But as far as a continuation trade for me, I'm not really great at those. A lot of times, like I said, Fridays, though, tend to be, trendy of late, especially during these summer months. So if we do continue in this downtrend and continue to go, just grinding down though, there's no entries for me. But that's something that you can think about as far as what you're looking for. This 80 level got tagged and now it's rotating back. Delta making a stronger push here. You can see a little bit more aggressive on the buyers now. See if we reaccept above 37, which is the value area low, or if we're going to continue to just fade on down. We still have yet to, we're in the market now here for an hour and 20 minutes. And we have yet to touch either the previous overnight high or the overnight low. So we've been kind of trapped in the overnight session range. It doesn't help, as far as the extended nature of it, because of that news that came out on the overnight of this Crowdstrike issue, grounding of airplanes, stuff like that affects computer systems, potentially could lead to that. It led to that bigger sell-off. Was that sell-off going to happen anyway? Maybe, but maybe it wasn't going to happen that soon. It might have happened during our market hours, and then we would have got a clean move. But we didn't, right? Things like that happen overnight. You don't get that kind of choice in the matter. It just does it when it does it, whenever it feels like. if you're the type that took the short with me at 41 and went to break even and now is just waiting for this previous day low to come into play, I hope you either have multiple contracts on, you're able to take some off as these, approach key structure levels and then stay profitable. Otherwise, you're probably going to get stopped for break even on some manipulation here. Because I hope you're at least at even. If you are looking for a full loss, then, maybe up here at 63 for some of those who are a little bit more risk averse. That's a nice little chop. So this is the move I wanted to get. Got like a nice clean break. I don't want to sit in this. I don't want to sit in this. I want to get it when it moves and then be out, and then I'll readjust, look for my next setup, which is going to be down here at this overnight low. That's really where I want it to be, especially we're getting reaction here. So it's kind of showing that there is reaction before that 56.68. If S&Ps can front run us, break through 55.68, kind of get down and fail it, that'll give time for the NASDAQ to catch up, get into the overnight lows and rotate out. That's where I would like it to be. Sometimes the market doesn't cooperate. Sometimes it doesn't behave the way we want it to. But we're still up. We're green. So I'm not in any sort of pressure to kind of chill to execute. This move right here is the one. I mean, that's the one I was looking to catch. I took a little bit bigger of a loss. I mean, really, we should be up. We shouldn't be anything. We did what we did, and it is what it is. So there's no like shoulda, woulda, couldas. Just making sure we adjust things. I actually got to set this because I have this set for my 100K. So as I go from account to account, I switched that, and I didn't switch it back. So that was my bad on that trade. But it's still okay. I didn't risk the full thing. But a lot of times if you get to a point where you see, oh, I have my stop just magically populates, and you don't know where you might be in relation to it, as far as dollar amount. Good thing Top Step X, it kind of shows you the dollar amount, but some other platforms don't. So just make sure if it does auto populate or whatever, you understand how much risk you're taking on every single trade. As I mentioned, here's I don't want to click off because I don't want to adjust this. I want to wait to see what happens here. So let's give this a few minutes. I don't think I'm going to execute anything before 10 o'clock anyway, because it's just the way this, if this just takes 2-3 more minutes, I can't trade anyway until 10. So maybe we get that manipulation at 10 o'clock, we'll trap some shorts and then we'll pop it. So that's my hopes. Unless it happens right now in the next 3 minutes where I can flush through and pop up and get my entry, I won't be executing because I have that rule. If you watched for any period of time, I have a rule where I do not trade within the 5 minutes leading into an hourly close because I just want to see what happens with the candles. I want to see what happens with price action. If I'm in an A+ setup and it's ready to go, I don't execute it. It's kind of that keeps me out of trouble more than it gets me in. Cost me for money. So I like that rule for myself. I mentioned I kind of went over after I was done trading yesterday. I did an extra half hour of just talking through everything. Scrooge McBucks, he came in here and he was asking about certain things, and I kind of went over the mental aspect of how you can kind of set yourself up for good success. And it really comes down to don't do dumb shit. And that's going to just kind of be my mantra for a while. Don't do dumb shit. As soon as you start to feel like it's dumb, just click off, go away, walk around, do something where you're not here doing dumb shit. And that's all I can say about that. I think you guys understand what I mean by it. I think really you guys, if you're in these rooms, if you're watching on a day-to-day basis, you have the bug for this, you have the passion for it, you really want to be successful for it, because it is life-changing if you could do it correctly and if you could do it consistently day in and day out. But you got to be able to mentally adjust yourself and have yourself in a place where you understand when the dumb shit is coming and you can recognize it and turn off, because the only time, like, we could be great 80-90% of the time and your setups are great, your trades are excellent, everything that happened is perfect. Then you have that one day, the dumb shit, and that's all I got to say about that. One day, you just blow up. It's all it ever takes is that one day. So if you can set your warning systems, that fail safe, that nuclear bomb, code book where you can't get it set off unless you really go through the steps, right? We can kind of pull back and allow things to kind of work in our favor. And if you start to recognize that tilt, you start to recognize that FOMO, you start to recognize that you're making executions that don't make sense to your plan, your playbook, walk away, lock out, go read a book, go to the bathroom, wash your face, do something that's going to kind of reset the clock and get yourself back on track. So right now we're at 5 minutes to the hourly close, and good for me that it kind of just crept up into 41. Nothing that I'm really interested in, but that is good for the idea here that there are buyers that kind of want to step in. They are pushing us up to 41. 41 should induce some selling, which should push us hopefully down into this level here. And if not, then this may just kind of rotate off with a front run of our level. We never made it to, we still have yet to clean up any of the overnight levels, overnight high or low, previous day high or low. We have not come into any of those. So like I said, we're still range bound, still an inside day from yesterday. Nothing crazy. Like if you were to kind of check the daily candles, you'd see that it would be stuck inside yesterday's range. And we're going to get rid of the orders because that's annoying. I just show them so you can see them, and then I'll take them off. This is the daily here. You can see yesterday's range right there, the green and the red. And this candle has been trapped in between those two, right? So we are in an inside daily candle currently. And then even inside the overnight levels, right? So we haven't had anything that's, indicative of good price movement. Let's see what happens. There's a nice little gap there, but gotta get my view out back to normal. All right. So like I said, I think there should be some sellers that step in front of 41. If our thesis is going to work out, if our plan is going to play, you want to get something where we move up like this, we come back down, we breach this level, you get a nice strong push to the downside, and then you come into either this level here or even shallower, maybe a little deeper into 700, whatever it is. Maybe you come into here and then you kind of bounce right out of it. Let's see. Something of that nature. Maybe wick off this 41, trick some shorts, trick some longs in, and then rotate down. That's the play that I want to see kind of work out here. And that's going to give me the opportunity, maybe even where this gets, something like this. Let me get this up. If we do something like this, where we just did, and then we push in here, come back to it, make another low, and then do what we did there. So that would be interesting as well. Like maybe not quite into the 20s, maybe not, or maybe into 20 up to the level, down to 700 hard wick, and then you start to get that pop. Trap some shorts, get people thinking that they can get short on another break of a low, and then a rally. Could you capitalize on this move here? You could if you get some sort of setup, a rising wedge, wick off high, rotate into VWAP, failed that 41 again. This is my thesis, and that's all I'm going to watch for right now. So see if that plays. That's the kind of thoughts you got to have if you are looking for your A+ setup, you got to understand what your A+ setup is. I understand what mine is, and I'm looking for it to kind of come into play here if it will do that. If it's just going to continue to grind and rotate out, then we'll watch to see what happens up here. We'll look for the same type of action, although you never made it to this level. You never made it here. Maybe you kind of just linger around between 26 and 41. That could be the action for the day. And especially as the day winds down, the closer and closer you get to close. I mean, maybe because it's Friday, you might get some profit taking and some rallying to pop through, but could just fizzle out to limited to no volume price action. So that's just what we're waiting to see. It's 10 o'clock, so if we do get any sort of executions set up, we will take them. But right now, we're just sitting on our hands here. Never made it to the low in the S&Ps either. We did, however, clean up the previous day low, 70.25. 2 with a tick. So that could be a catalyst for a rotation. Never made it there in the NQ. This is the kind of setup I wanted at the lows, but you can see why we don't just kind of I don't sit and wait for targets. I think that's kind of a waste of time for me, my strategy, my style. If the price is going to give me, down to 800 or down to 820, and I'm going to take the price as it's telling me what I'm willing to take. If it's going to give me more, then I'll trail out and get more of it. Do I have a specific, end target in mind? It's 0, right? I would love to get that many points and break the market and take all the money in the world. That's not going to happen, right? So I'm going to trail it as I see, take the little piece of the big move, and just consistently do that every day, once a day, twice a day here. Just consistently do it. I'll take my base hit, and eventually, 80, 100, 50, 1,000, 200, all of that adds up, over the course of time. And this was the setup, but it needed to be down here, right? This exact move needed to be 40 points lower. Still could happen. Still could go down there. I don't see why it wouldn't. Retest of the opening range, 1 minute opening range. Could you hammer that short again? You could, if that's your setup. Break, retest of the opening range. Might get to that overnight low quick now. If you are in combines, don't rush it. Don't look to be funded today. Don't look to be funded in 2 days. Just because you can doesn't mean you should. There's no rush in the combine. Back in the day, it used to be 2 steps. Top step, you'd have to pass the first step. Then you go to a second step. Then you finally get funded. And, I passed those. And you felt like you needed to do it so quickly to get through each step to finally get funded, to finally make money. Now it's just one step, one rule, do it, show that you can do it, pass, make money. So it's not like you need to rush through that whole process. If it takes you 10 days, if it takes you a month, if it takes you 2 months, you would like to do it within one rebuild, but the more you put pressure on, I have to make X number of dollars per day or else is when you start to really fall into the habits of it's going to, get you into some trouble. So try and do your best to just accept what the market's giving you, accept what your strategy is giving you for that day, and just one day at a time. Have a plan, have a strategy, do what you know is good, what you know is appropriate. Don't do stupid shit, and you will be just fine. You'll pass, you'll get XFAs, you'll build good habits. Then once you get into those good XFA habits, you're just going to carry those into your trading. If you just YOLO pass 2 good quick days and you accidentally passed, you made $1,500 on 2 wild trades, you're more likely to lose that account in under a month. I'm pretty sure their statistics back that up. All right, I'm going to use the restroom real quick. I drink a lot of coffee and a lot of water when I'm talking on here. Give me a minute. A little push right up into the VWAP. I mean, that was the play. That's exactly what I look for as far as my strategy is concerned, as targets, as far as rotations. But we never made it to the area where I would be able to execute. Right, I wanted to get to my lows, previous day low, overnight low. If we didn't clean it up, it means it wasn't ready yet for me. Right, I didn't get my A+ set up for it. If we start to get this wedging pattern here, the breakdown of 41 could be another decent trade, which I may look to do on a combine. I'm not looking to do that on my funded accounts currently. Higher volume on this candle here, the break above. If that fails and breaks, then rotation back down makes sense. I'm not taking it on funded. If I do execute it, it's going to be on a combine. Just to prove concept on the trade idea. This is how you would do it if you are funded, and if you're not looking for, if there's no A+ setup available and you want to work on some other things, and maybe you understand the dynamics of a like a practice account. It's technically not a practice account. It is a combine, but I can make money on it and be happy with the results if I do it correctly. So we are on the combine. Note that if I do get this short, just kind of reassessing it. And then if we take this and then we get down into our overnight lows, then potentially I will, I'm going to switch over to my XFAs and look for my A+ setup in there. I'm not rushing this 100K, so I'm looking to pay for the activation fee with the payouts from the other 2 XFAs. So I'm kind of taking the XFA slow, so I'm taking these combines a little slower as well. Normally I would put on like a 5 contract here. Could look at this to be down in that range. Actually, to pass, I only need 2,000, so technically That would be a nice little move there. Let's see if we can let this thing breathe and get down a little bit. Up 300 on it with 2 contracts. I will take my base hit on it and then let it be risk-free and see if I pass this combine or not on this execution. This should happen fast, to be honest with you. So this is like I said, this is a combine. I am taking it off of my XFA. I'm testing out, not testing out, but trying to gain more confidence in break retests. Stuff that maybe I want to add to my XFA playbook moving forward. I think realistically, if we get through 20, then 800 could come into play. If we front run 800 with 1 contract, then we can get the rest of it off. Can pass this combine. Can't be mad at a good $700, 20 locked in on that. 2 contracts. Try to get 1 contract off at just above 800. 105. This should kind of, if it does flush, we'll pass the combine on this. The 100K. There you go. Secure 1,000. If this ticks this, then we'll go and get ourselves, figure out what the passing 400 more bucks. Let it go. So that's the idea behind that one. I don't think that was a bad trade at all. Like I said, that's why I'm willing to take it on my combine. I wasn't taking it on the XFA. Like I said, I'm taking the XFA slow. I'm only looking for those A+ setups, and if they're not going to come into play, then it's all right. I front ran that 800 level to try and catch a little bit more on it. What do I need? Like I said, I need about 400 more bucks on this to pass. So if it flushes, we should be good. 5. We're currently up 7. 1100. So we need this to be right down here. And there's the breakdown. So anything up over 800, we're going to get out on, which is fine by me. Looks like we're going to get filled on this potentially. And we passed the account. There we go. That's how you pass 100K right there. Beautiful move. Flatten all. Make sure there's no trades on there. But that was clean. I want to add that to my playbook, to be honest with you. I saw that play pretty cleanly. Once you get a volume break, basically it's our strategy, just using a major structure level and not an overnight high or an overnight low. So in a range bound type environment or like a continuation type environment, I will use this play maybe moving forward more so in my XFAs. But we just passed another 100K combine, so we now have another funded account getting ready to go here. So hopefully if somebody was looking to catch that trade, I hope you did. Now I'm going to switch back. I'm going to lock this out. 106.14. Actually, how much did I need? I think I needed $22. I think I needed 106.22. Oh, well. Probably didn't pass it. Let's see what the 100K account needed. Because my biggest day was 3,000. Yeah, so I needed 106.22. So I need another $9, $10. Funny. But I'm not going to just hammer in. I could have let it go a little bit further. I would have been fine. Hell yeah, Scott. Look at you. Oh, yeah. That's silly. So don't run into that issue. Make sure you try not to make too much. I wasn't going to activate this account till, Monday or Tuesday or maybe later anyway. So honestly, should I just grab a quick micro on it? Yeah, maybe, but I'm not looking to just trade it. You see the bounce on the ES. It's 106.14. We'll look at the performance stat on this bad boy. Couple really nice, good trades here. Overall, we've been trading really well. The combines, like I said, I just let them play out a little bit more, get a little bit more money on them. Obviously, the strategy works across combines, across XFAs. I'm just taking the XFAs a little slower, just trying to build them up till I get all of the funding completed and done. So I'm cool with doing what we have done. Yeah, right. So we are up and to the right, solid 6,014.60 on these. Our average win is 6 times bigger than our average loser, which is absolutely profitable. I want this to get deeper down so I can get in on the failed break. I'm going to go back to the XFAs. I'm not going to lock out that combine because I will look to maybe potentially grab $10 at some point if I see an A+ setup. So S&P's just cracked through and flushed and is now trying to break back above. I want to see if we could get our NQ to play along. That was absolutely money trade right there. You could see clear as day we made a nice little catch on it. Oof, I forget about the fees and stuff. I do silly things sometimes. I just forgot about that extra $22 that I needed to make on the account, which is okay. I can make $22, but I'm not going to force $22. I mean, $22. I need to make like $10, but $280 on each side. I'm going to switch over to a micro and then just let it kind of do its thing later. Get down. I need this to get through my area of interest. We are still staying inside today. We make it higher or low now. S&P's doing what we wanted, right? Getting below the level, trying to peek back above it. Well done, Scott. I'm glad you're locking out on that. It was a really nice trade. Which one did you take? Did you take that short through 41? Did you take a rejection of the opening range? Did you take the long? What did you take on that, Scott? Another pop here. That was a beautiful, clean move. You could see that setting up really nicely there. 2 trades. First was 17, and the other one short, gave back 500. I like it. Well done. Yeah, that was pretty clean. It seemed obvious to me as well. That's why I switched over to the 100K combine to try and capture as much of that as I could. I'm glad I was able to secure that. Got 1,800 on it. I could have I took it out at it doesn't even say. That's good. That's a great entry. I just confirmed it below 41 based on the volume, based on everything. So here we go. Maybe we can get this thing down a little deeper. It's all good what kind of combine you're in, because if you make more than 1,500, you're going to have to make more to pass your combines. So it's good to have that 2,200, or 2,700. Now you're going to have to make 2,700 more. It's a very it's a rule-based system here with the combines. So if you took that on a combine, it's awesome. I'm proud of you. That's great. Just understand that if you are on a 50K, then you need to limit your wins for the day to 1,500. Oh, that's on your 100Ks. Hell yeah. So if it's on your 100Ks, then you're good. You got to keep it under 3K. So that's perfect. That's the reason why I didn't just pass. Why I needed 22 extra bucks instead of my 106 even. Okay, let's get this down. Get down. Trades. For some reason, it's not showing the trade, which is weird. It shows it on the performance dashboard, right? If I would have just left both contracts on, I would have passed, no problem. But I took one off, like a smart trader does. 83 quarter. I mean, I bottom ticked it, so I legit hit the bottom tick on that fantastic trail. I mean, fantastic target profit. I hit take profit on that, so it really was not possible to make any more on my trade idea. Goddamn, fucking chart doesn't want to apologize for the cursing. Just doesn't want to get to my areas, right? It just doesn't. Sometimes it's frustrating. It doesn't want to get to your spot where you're looking for your entries, right? I'm all good with it. I like that move a lot. And I like this one too. This is really what I was looking for on our chart, but we just never got there. It should have been a nice clean move. Somebody's front running this previous day low. Somebody wants this to stop here at 80. Don't know who that is. Don't care. Just want to. GG's, baby. Good game. Way to absolutely capitalize on the day. I saw those P&Ls. That's great. Good trade. I'm very proud of everybody who's able to capitalize on any sort of trades based on just kind of sitting here all day and being patient and executing on your levels. So, you come out of Fridays profitable, it's always a good weekend, right? You could always make more money. You could always lose more money. Just be content with your executions, be content with your plan, and you're going to just kind of roll into Monday, roll into the next day, doing the same good things. Do the same good things over and over and over again, and you guys are going to be successful. And I know that because I still haven't given up, and I've run into all the same issues you have, I promise. I promise. Yeah, I might take that micro later when I see an A plus set up, but I'm looking for this low to come in. $0.50 a tick. I need minus fees $8 and change. So I need a $10 move. And there it's probably going to come. This could give us our setup here. I'm gonna leave that one alone for now. I've always gotten myself into trouble looking to get profit targets. It comes down to that last couple dollars that you want. Thank you, Scott. I appreciate your kind words. This gives me a head and shoulders vibe. Possibly once 80 gives up, then our previous day low might not hold anymore. We are, like I said, in that downtrend, in that short sellers environment. You know, every time bidders try to step in, they're getting smacked down, smacked down, smacked down. I do want to get the failure of this low. I want the same thing that happened over here to happen over here. And I'm, like I said, I'm not looking to take a home run. Although I think that potentially if you do get that setup that we were talking about where you fail it, like, right, this exact kind of move, right? You get up here, you fail this, you pull down, do the same type of setup right here that you do down here. Give me this, what this looks like right there, right here. And then you got that nice little pop up. Something has to give. I don't know if I'll be able to trail that out, if that's the case, if that's what wants to play out. But I think realistically, Friday, we've been short all week. We're coming into major structure. There's been sellers, but there have been buyers that have been propping this up at key levels. So potentially, if you get that trap sweep of the low, you might get that rotation failure, or you get the continuation selling. You know, those are the two scenarios. Carlos, good to see you always. I'll see you Monday. Always a pleasure seeing you all here on the chat. I'm on here 8:30 to 11 every day. I possibly could be on here. This week we were only on Monday, Thursday, and Friday. Next week we should be on every day depending on our schedule. But I always update that Sunday newsletter whenever you see it posted. Take a look. I always post it on my Instagram, you know, a link for it. I post it on Day Trading Coffee Co. website. So if you're over, you know, clicking through the education tab, it's always in there Sunday night, you know, around midnight Central Time. If you get up early pre-market Monday, it's, you know, it's a quick enough read where you can get it done in a few minutes and be ready for the day and the week ahead. If you want to start learning how to do something like that, I maybe, if I get enough commentation or, you know, messages about it, I'll do a how-to video on how you can just go about structuring your own weekly plan, right? Like, everything I do is broad generalities, give you good levels, give you ideas, but I don't say, yes, market will go here, yes, market will go there. I say, if this happens, then this happens. If this happens, then that happens. Give yourself broad generalities and always kind of include the room for like a breaking news event or, you know, something interesting that could drive the markets in a certain direction, you know, during the week. So I would like to give that, you know, if I maybe make a YouTube video on how to do it, maybe this week, I'll show you all how to go about it and post that while I do it, kind of post out how I went about making that, you know, week in and week out. It's 10:26. You got 4 minutes till the European close, which I would like to see push us into that low. If you can get that close through here around 10:30 and we get that pop, we'll be really, really happy to see that failed breakdown, trapping shorts in the liquidity zone, down even into the 20s and 700s, right? It doesn't have to be just right here and go. I think that that's more unlikely, although we have been front running the level. S&P's breaking and holding. What do they have as structure to the left? Not much. This needs to fail this overnight low, and then we'll finally get our A plus set up. It only takes till 10:30 in the morning. I want it to go though and be like strong high volume break, which it looks like it wants to do. Need to get through these levels. Get through them. Finally clean them up. Don't just tick it. Come on now. Risk settings, still 200. Good. Okay. Just making sure that everything is squared away for the setup to come into play. I need to now get, so S&Ps are down below. You can see they're lower. If we can recover 55.68, lead us to the upside, how it has been. There's buyer here at 57. Should flush it. There it goes. Nice little flush. Anything that goes above here is going to be bought for me. I like it a lot. Now we see if it's a confirmed breakout or if it's going to be a failed breakdown and a rotation. That's my goal here, to get this above this level and rotate out. S&P's is staying pretty heavy. NVIDIA's not. It hasn't sold off heavily. It's below its level at 119.37, but it could grab the liquidity and just pop. So that's what my thought is here. Fail, breakdown, rotate out. Catch as much of it as possible. If we get a little wedge pattern down into 20s, that'd be great. But quick to even and then rotate us out and see how far we can get us up. S&Ps, NQ, NVIDIA. I apologize. I keep saying the wrong name. NVIDIA holding its level, 119.40. I'm gonna record this, start recording, see if I can catch this move here on tape, if it's gonna go with our A+ setup here. If we can get above our lower band of VWAP, there is a magnet there at 70. That was nice. 31. Let's see if we can get the bottom, V bottom kind of action here. I need S&Ps to tell me a little bit more of a story, though. Where are we as that's concerned? Okay. 560. Needs to get back above 560. Yeah. I almost want to go front run and go through the overnight low, which is my normal thing. But since they're so tight together, I could risk to the overnight low breaking above the previous day low, which is this candle, which is all of the above, and then gives us that rotation back up. Should give you like a strong pop. This was a higher volume candle we broke through. Still haven't quite gotten too heavy on it. We're getting into the area where I like it, down into that 720s. I think there's a chance that the gap fills. Like I said, if it just is a confirmed breakdown, then so be it. We don't get an entry. But if it's going to be a failed breakdown, right? I drew that arrow right there. You can see the arrow is drawn up when I did it. I left it on the time frame when I drew it. So that's what we're looking for as far as where we want price to come down to, possibly reject, start to make up some sort of setup, start to rotate, come back above, do something like this that we have up here down below our levels, and then you get that clean push and break above that structure. So if we come back to the overnight low, fail it, rotate back up, then, that would give us a nice little idea here. I'm going to go to the bathroom real quick one more time. So I don't try to pick bottoms. I don't try to pick tops. I look for my key levels and areas that I'm interested in. I look to see if we can get information at those levels to successfully attempt to limit our risk and rotate with good timing, and then maybe potentially catch a bit of a bid and run out, right? So if we get above our VWAP or lower band, you see Delta trying to push. Maybe we get one of those lower wedge patterns, right? There is size at 710. There's a 70 lot at 710. See if it gets filled. 710 has a 70 lot. See if somebody front runs it and buys us up, or if we get that wick through to 710, rotate back. I want to see a failed, like if you were like a major player in the futures world and you're trying to get tons of shares filled, this is where you would get stop orders getting run. This is where you'd get a bunch of people filling up saying, oh, the short's coming in. Finally, we're going to close this gap. And now you're starting to load up on all these people who are going short. Maybe you get a little bit deeper. Maybe you swing it down a little bit more, down to 700. Then you kind of are now accumulated your thousands of shares, millions of shares, however many you're able to accumulate to rotate yourself back up to the VWAP area and beyond, because NVIDIA is now starting to curl up 1939, 1932. It's playing with that 40 level, looking like it wants to pop. Can we get a good pop above the previous day low? If you have a bigger account size, a bigger buffer, or you're playing micros or something where you're just building into an order, that's where people start to build into orders, is into zones. And this is where people would be eyeballing it to get interested, because that's just where it's been interested the whole entire time. 726, 728, that's a key level. The low, 720 has been swept. So let's, get through it one more time maybe and see if it'll give us that, wick off low, and then you start to rotate back up higher. I have to execute this, right? It's just part of the plan. So if it stops me out on it, then I'm okay with it because I've accepted the risk already to say I'll lose and be down, but I've executed to my plan. So I'm happy to execute it based on the plan. S&P's got way deeper into this after that pullback. Like I said, 60s I think is a key level. I'll draw a 60 right there. I think if it gets back above 60, you might see this start to rotate back that other way. If not, you'd probably continue to rotate down. And if this doesn't happen before 11, then I would just lock out and enjoy my weekend. I'd like to see it. Like I said, it could even come all the way into 700. Grab that, or somebody might front run 700, or grab that 700 wicket, try and trap more shorts below 7, and then start to rotate us up. And people would ask, why wouldn't you just try and go long through here? Because that's not confirming that my plan is coming to fruition, right? I want to see the other end of it. I want to get stopped in, and I want price to go in my direction so quickly that I don't ever take any heat on my winner. I want to be correct quickly. I want to be able to run my stop to break even and then trail out and make my money as I can pretty quick. I don't want to just linger and chop for a long time. So a lot of times you're down in these accumulation zones. You may get chopped below the level for a while. I think the level is 60. So I'm front run. I'm confirming that it's gonna, if it goes 3.5 points through 60, you would think it's probably going to continue to rally up a bit more. So that's my thought on it. But it could easily, like I said, close that gap with the heaviness, and just be a trend day all the way down, close the gap to 610. So all the way down to here is, it's, still fair. Another 20 minutes or so left on the stream. See if we can get this entry. See if we will be able to get one of these setups finally for the day. NVIDIA is now finally rolling over. If NVIDIA can get back above 119.40, then maybe this works out. If not, we'll probably continue to roll over down to 610. But just kind of based on price action, based on everything that I've been seeing, The lack of just like heaviness immediately doesn't lead me to believe that we really want to sell off very heavy through this key, very important structure level. I mean, if it's going to, usually selling comes in heavy. If this was a long, then maybe it makes sense where it's not as, explosive. But usually you'd see if you got this good break on volume, you would get more heaviness like pretty quickly. So let's see if it comes in or not. That 710 did seemingly get filled. 716 up to 711. Pretty decent size. Got filled there. Did they just draw price there just to keep it going? Seems like it. 77 lot got filled there. So let's see if it goes back up. That 710 there, it got filled. You can see it right there on the time of sales. All those got filled at 710 to 712. It was a 70-something lot, but I think there's a bit more smaller orders mixed in there as well. That's what I like to see. A little sweep of that low, rotate back. Then I'll have a confirmation to pop us back up. If you are going to come into this overnight low, maybe reject it a little bit, and then give you that squeeze pop through into that previous day session. And then you have a bunch of short sellers panic selling, and then they'll start to maybe squeeze us up. That's my hopes on this. Let's see what happens. Nice candlestick right there. I like that rejection off of that 700 level. Like I said, I really think that this type of setup is conducive for that pattern to show us that it wants to go higher. You didn't get a lower delta, right? So that's our divergence. That's a checkbox in our favor here so far. You see we're even on the lows, and you made a deeper low in price. Just not as many aggressive sellers coming in here through that low that you would like to see that continuation. A high volume node here, a high volume node here. Anything up over that 45, you start to rotate up into 770 and up to 810. So 770 might be risky because we may get dragged to it as a magnet to fill us and then rotate down. However, I do feel the push up to 800 would be more likely, kind of clean up a lot of that move. And then if you start to get buyers stepping in, then potentially you could really start to see this thing push up higher on a Friday, trying to squeeze through 41. If you get up to 41 and you start to accept above there, right at that trend line, that downtrend, that could be the timing where we start to end up on the other end of the this longer term consolidated zone, right? And that's why I'm looking for a long through that level. NVIDIA curled right back up, looking to run right into that 119.40. If it can get above it, then maybe we can start to get a squeeze. It's kind of just price just lingering here. Volume's ticking up a bit. Now you're getting a heavier delta, and price is not following through, right? So you're getting the opposite end of aggressive sellers trying to step in and price not following through. So you got the opposite divergence. You got a 50 lot sitting here at 25, so it should tick up to 25 potentially, and it disappeared, came off the books. Don't know if it was spoofing, trying to get price up. They're flashing a 60 lot down below at 700. So now Delta making new lows. And price, like I said, price not following through. So like I said, you have that opposite divergence pattern. So now here, if we make another deeper low, then this is not the timing again, or if we possibly get the continuation. Or if you get a heavy, like a really big green delta candle after this push, then you know that the aggressive buyer is coming in, stepping in here. Like I said, I think they've been flashing a 60 lot. That's kind of been trailing this. at 40, there's a 50 lot. Okay, so now we're starting to see that diminishing wedge pattern. 730, we can crack above our lower band of view up at 35. Then we're going to start to see that thing pop off. This is the type of price action I look for to see things move. You could look to see it happen over and over and over again. That this, at a key level, this kind of lower wedge pattern sweep of the low at a key point can give you that pop. And you got that. There you go. Pushing up. Do you take any heat if you take the long from 30, right? That's a clean move. Does it go all the way up into the lows or not? But that's why I'm not executing until I re-accept back into previous days' sessions. But this is where it all begins. This is how we say, okay, are we starting to turn around now? Is this where we're going to get to the other end, right? Are we going to hold below this VWAP band, or are we going to breach it, accept above it, get up over 45, push into 70, and then beyond? Using these volume nodes as target areas. And you're having aggressive sellers trying to step in here, and price is still pushing upside. So you're getting that opposite divergence and potentially could see a good squeeze coming in. If NVIDIA can get up over that 40, 119.39, 119.40, then we're going to start to push this upside. I think I need S&Ps to give us the timing of this to get through 60, which would get us up through our levels here on the NQ. But this is your entry pattern here that could really help you front run levels, get you involved. That's what I like to look for. If it was a little bit higher up, great. But that's kind of exactly where I saw this happening, right? I drew this arrow up over here. We wanted to see all that action happen here, start to move up, maybe consolidate it, and then give us a nice clean move straight through the previous day low up into and beyond. Who knows how high? Just kind of let the market tell us which way or how far. There's a nice pop off at 30. Could start to see the squeeze action come into play here. Beautiful move. Really beautiful off that 30. If you would have front ran it, you would be clean in the money right now. Let's see if we can squeeze through 63 and get through 70. Like I said, I want to try and get through my levels quickly. That was a really nice move from 30 to basically to 60. A nice 30-point move on that wedge pattern squeeze, right? We have a 75% tilt long, so maybe we kind of pull back a little, and then we squeeze up through. S&P's confirming now above 60, which is nice. So we should get a little bit of a, maybe hopefully one little more pullback, and then we rip and rock straight to the upside. NVIDIA needs to pop, and then we're good. All right, we're in. Let's see if our play works out. We gotta get through 70. I'm willing to risk to the overnight low. So I move my stop there. Accept the risk, see what happens with it. I want to get up over 70 so I can get to even. I would have liked this to squeeze quicker than that. Might need to take a secondary entry on it if we get stopped, because I do think that this is still the right play. We just may need to time it a little bit better. We didn't get in on the front run right at 30, which is really the play. But that overnight low holding, which is good. Overnight low is holding. Overnight low is holding. Can we get the squeeze here? This is where we want that to happen. It's not going to happen here. Come on up. Come on up. And still good. Still good. Still good. And we may get stopped out here. Nope, our stop is still in an okay spot. NVIDIA did roll from 119.40 though. So I'm going to leave my stop where it is. If we get stopped out, like I said, I accepted the risk on that trade. I want to see this play out a little bit. If I can get up over 70s, then we should be safe to move to even. But if we can't get over that 70s, then we're not going to accept into this range, and we're going to reject it back down. You can see price trying its best to hold that 50. So there it is. There it is. There's the pop. So if we can get that pop through 70, then we can get to even. I'm not going to risk any more than that. There we go. We're even. We're even. It's a free trade for me. My thought is if it goes, it goes. If it doesn't, it's going to fail. So I'm out if it doesn't go quick. I'm willing to just take $20, take my fees and be moving on based on the way that wicked off. But if it does go, I'll be very happy to see it go. It's got to get up through 70 and hold, though. Can't just wick 70. It's got to hold 70. There we are. Come on now. All right. Come on, hold 70, push now to 780 to 800. Just never look back at 70. Man, I had that stop at a perfect location there at 50. If we get wicked out here, it's okay. But like I said, I want to get above 70 and hold. So we did not. It keeps rejecting 70. There's that volume there, so we're going to get stopped out likely. We've still, yeah, there we are. But we're out for $121 across two accounts. Like I said, I'm taking these very, very quick, short moves. If I can get down below the overnight low again and then take that next entry through here. The reason I was a little concerned is because I noted that 70 volume node. The volume node there, heavy tilt to the long side. You can see lots of orders executed at 70. It needed to go through there quick. You can see the volume node there at 50 as well. That was a draw, but there was a good stop location there because if it got swept, then you'd be out. But right now, looks like we have 2 more minutes till I can't execute anymore. So unless I get a little bit deeper below here and start to rotate back out again, I think I'm going to have to be done on this. If you have more time in your day to actually execute, this is still, I think, a valid turning point for the long. Hopefully you got in at 30. I didn't front run my entry. I did mention that this is the setup that you want to see. You want to see that make new lows, sweep it, The delta divergence, everything happened there. You start to rotate up. You get the break. Never really took any heat from 30. You came down a little bit, down to 24, 25, but you're safe below this candle. Once you broke out, you have no heat on you. You could pretty much go to the overnight low and then let this thing trade out on you, up 20 points and beyond now at this point. We never quite got there, but I'll take it and go. So, not going to quite be able to execute again on this account, which it's unfortunate. I didn't, I could have left my stop at 50, took the full risk on it, but at the end of the day, I had my plan. I needed to hold 70 pretty fast. Otherwise, we're going to probably rotate again, and it wasn't the right timing on it. So it was pretty much wait for the retest and go, and that's where you can get your entry. So kind of finite, but realistically, I'm happy with taking another day of another base hit, another $100 across 2 accounts. I mean, how can you be mad about that? Especially when you basically passed another combine. Yeah, so 5 minutes to the hourly close. If anybody has any questions, comments, concerns, it's Friday. I'm not trying to force anything in on a Friday. I don't really care anymore for the rest of the day to do whatever it wants to do. I'm cool with it. I think realistically, this was our low of the day. If it continues downside, then great. But like I said, I drew up this arrow. This is where we're probably going to come down to. It's probably where we're going to fail. We probably could get an entry above here, front run it. And like I said, in this XFA, I'm looking more for my A+ setups. I was up $100 on it, basically looking to mitigate, go even. So I took a little bit more than even on that trade. It took $40. So, over the last 2 trades, we're up $390. So really not too shabby on those. Just, that first loser was just poorly timed, and that's all. Overall, like I said, very clean move here. Good idea here. Good idea here. Like this short idea here was fantastic. Scott caught that one. I caught that one on the combine. This long idea here was a great idea here. Bang right there. Great idea. Long there. I went long through the previous day low, expecting that squeeze to kind of kick off right away. But now you're starting to see it, and it's just going to keep kind of dancing around here. I wanted to go quick. And then we also talked on this short right here. We took that short there. That's where we made a really good choice. We front ran it here. That's where we took our first loss, which kind of limited our P&L on the day. But however, we're willing to accept that risk. And there's that squeeze that we were expecting right to 800. Boom, right there. Kind of just didn't. It went. Oh, you're back, Scott. Look at you. I took the entry here, got stopped out, basically even, and now we're rocking and rolling. So really kind of expected it to do exactly what we talked about here. This flush here, that flush there, and this bounce exactly right where we pretty much called out that at 9:30, we waited all the way till almost 11 for it to kind of work out. So really, really good. Hey, good stuff. I like it. Well done, Scott. Buy those boozes. Get some drink. I'm happy with it. I'm a little bit disappointed that the squeeze didn't happen immediately. Pretty much with the way this works out, usually it'll come quick. And then you start to see this kind of wedge pattern here is basically the same thing opposite there for the potential continuation failure. So I wasn't sold on the way price moved right away. I'm a right away, quick, right or wrong, quick. This danced around a little bit more than I liked, right? Because we got triggered in, pulled back. I wanted to really get triggered in at the overnight low, which is probably the better idea. But I gave it the more confident entry at 60, 61, 62 over here, and then took my profits at the top here. But I think this rotates now beyond 41 is probably a good place for it. I need to make $10 on this account. So if I just take a quick little scoopsy at wherever I see fit, then I'll pass this 100K. Then we have this 50K left to load into. We're up on the XFAs. We've moved away from our A+ entry. This was it. We entered here. That was the play. Was the correct move. completely from 63 to kind of where we're at now, 800. Even if we got trailed out, which seems like it probably would have happened around 800, we wanted to be long through this 30 level. I, was just waiting to be safe on a Friday. I'm kind of cool with that, but stopped ourselves out, kind of cost ourselves a nice clean move straight to the upside that I spoke about. If we get back through here, we should rotate back up, with that VWAP target and maybe even beyond that VWAP up to the overnight high, or beyond. Who knows? But the rest of the day, risk 5, target 20. Yeah, that's pretty much what I should do, but I'm not going to do that. I'm going to lock these guys out, continue my green streak on stream. Every day we've streamed these accounts this month. A nice little up and to the right. Didn't let my trade play out there. That should have been another little boost in the P&L and kind of got us back probably closer over to that $2,000 profit market. But like I said, I'm taking base hits on these. My average winner is still bigger than my average loser, and obviously my best is way bigger than my worst, and that's all you can ask for. With where's the winning percentage on this? Do we have a winning percentage? Winning percentage is 65%. I think we could be a little higher than that, especially because we shouldn't have been doing these. So technically, there's 2 losers in there, and then a couple other losers that maybe I front ran a little bit that I shouldn't have. So, but otherwise, green, 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 green. As you see, just steady green profits. You limit your losers to small. Take the small winners when they come. Take the bigger winners when they come. And eventually this account grows and grows and grows and grows and grows. And then you can finally take the money out of it and be happy that you're consistently building your account to the way you want it to be. So these are locked out. Manual lockout. No trading allowed on those. The 100K combine. It is now 11 o'clock. Stream is all but over. If anybody has any questions, comments, concerns, or anything they want to talk about leading into the weekend, let me know. Otherwise, I think we're pretty much all set. I think we can get $10 on here. Let me set my profit target here to 20. Save. And you can go ahead and be pretty confident that we're going to make $20 before the stream is over. Oh, I didn't mean to do that. Oh, well. I guess we're going to rock and roll with it. I meant to stop by, but we'll take $20 and be done with it. There we go. All right. We made our $20. That should be like a new strategy. Risk 500 to make $20 and just do that 1,000 times. That's a stupid strategy. Don't do that. Don't do that at all. You'll feed the shit out of yourself. So we passed another combine. We got a 100K combine passed. So now we have a 100K XFA and 250Ks, and then we have 150K in the works. So really working on maximizing the funding. We'll have another day like this Monday. I think we will. I think realistically we came to highs, all-time highs. We cleaned up down into lows. I think potentially this could come into VWAP, potentially roll into even lower, but I think that this is probably low of the day. You probably get limited price action the rest of the day. If it does rotate full overnight high to overnight low, overnight low to overnight high, you may get a little bit of a squeeze action at the high. But overall, I think Monday will still open in an area that's very tradable. And like I said, we're maximizing our funding one account at a time. We have $200,000 in funding, looking to get another 50K by the end of next week. So we'll have, we're going into the end of this week very, very happy with how we've traded, sticking to our plan, all that stuff. So like I said, here's our P&L chart for that. We made $3,011, which made that $22 extra necessary. Made another $1,000 over the last 2 days, and it made the last little bit today on nothing really crazy oversized, right? I didn't oversize these. I just took good, clean trades, executed on them, let them play out, and did what I did. I could do this, with a 100K account with a little bit bigger of a buffer. I plan on keeping the 100K account separate from the 50K, every 50K that I copy trade. So I'm going to copy trade the 50Ks, keep the 100K separate, and sort of leverage this for some bigger moves potentially. Or maybe I'll lock out the 50Ks and run the 100K. see what happens with it. But overall, like I said, we have now built a third full XFA up, and we are ready to, continue to leverage these accounts slowly and surely over time. Like we lock these out, manual lockout. It is Friday. Go enjoy your weekend. Get that booze like Scott. Hopefully you guys can draw up some plans over the weekend on how you want to become better traders without, the pressure of the market being open, and we'll go from there. But otherwise, enjoy your weekends. I'll see you all Monday morning, 8:30 Central Time, as always, till 11. Until then, deuces. Deuces, Scott.